Alright, so I basically wanted to come on here and drop some thoughts on some things that I've been going through or working through, some things that I've been kind of like processing in terms of like if you're struggling, if it feels like you're always resisting yourself, where there's like these two different paths or these two different directions that you want to go, where it's like one path you feel like you should go that way, but this other path is like one where you've habitually done that, or it seems like it's hard to pull away from that, or it's hard to disconnect from that. Like for me personally, the thing that I've been having that kind of struggle or that opposition with is like, I want to go, like one end of the spectrum is like I want to go fast, I want to do a lot of things, I want to there's a lot of different stuff that I want to do in terms of business, in terms of like relationships, in terms of financials, in terms of all that different type of stuff, like everything that could be included in a life, right? Like I know it's like I'm becoming more aware of more things that I want to do in all those different areas and all those different categories. So I have like this, right? And then on the other side of that is like this kind of habitual practices or processes where I slow myself down. And I slow myself down in the sense of like practically what that would look like is taking certain times off every single time, almost like I was running on clockwork, like, and not necessarily doing that by active choice, but more of like that was just the habit that was set, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to continue doing that anymore. And it was like there's this struggle. It was like there's this struggle to figure out which one of those do I actually want. Like, I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to just go fast as hell and like everything, or if I wanted to be able to have time to take time to slow down to do all these different, or really to not do anything, right? And so what I've been going through with that is just through some different things that I've been doing is basically getting to a point where I remember, or I'm remembering more of kind of, this sounds cheesy, but like remembering more of who I actually am before I had different experiences that taught me different things. And what I mean by that is like, I don't know, for me personally, like I'm a person that has the ability to, whether I'm doing a lot of things or whether I'm trying to not do as many things, I have the capacity to have like extremely high levels of attention and awareness and like energy towards things. And when I try to restrict what I'm doing, it's like I'm literally trying to block that energy or block that interest. And I didn't understand, like the whole reason that I went into this is like I didn't understand why is there this friction between like I say I want to go fast and I want to do all these things, but I can't seem to let myself do that. And it was like starting to understand that there's experiences that I've had throughout the course of life that where other people have brought into my environment the idea or the thought process that like you don't need to go that fast, or that it's good to go slower, or that it's not good to go that fast. And so it kind of started with like understanding or realizing that, because different people have different I don't even know if that's true. Like what I was gonna say is like different people have different levels of, I don't know, intensity or whatever you want. Not intensity, but just like I don't know exactly what it's called, but like different levels of how much they want to invest into their life, I guess. And the reason I said I don't really know if that's true is because I think the people that I got that from may have just gotten it from other people that got it from other, right? So like I think when we're all, if we were to strip away all of that from our experiences, or at least understand that how those experiences altered us, we'd be back at that stage, or back at that state where we have the capacity, we have the ability to go 100 miles an hour in a bunch of different things, and that not being a bad thing. Like, that's what I've started to be able to make a little bit more of a transition into, is I actually feel better when I'm doing more in more different areas. Because when I wasn't doing as much in fewer areas, like I was doing less, and I was doing less in fewer areas, everyone said that that's supposed to be better for you because you're not stressing yourself as hard, you're not, like, you're able to take time off, you're able to slow down and enjoy things. But I wouldn't actually feel like I was slowing down. I wouldn't be enjoying things because I'd be like trying to force myself to do something that I really didn't actually want to do. But I couldn't figure out, like, why is there this tug or this opposition? So it was really going through, like, remembering things or like recalling things or experiences of all different kinds, or all different sorts of like events or experiences, and remembering what happened during those, what I was experiencing during those. And I started to remember things that I had forgotten, or that I was no longer aware of. So like, I remember what I was like when I was younger, what I was like before this incident happened, what I was like before that incident happened, and starting to understand how those experiences altered me, and started to create this opposition, like, within me. Because I mean, so many people will say, like if they were to hear what I'm talking about right now, where a little while ago, where I said, like, I want to do a lot, I want to do it fast, I don't necessarily want to take that much time to, like, enjoy things, they'd be like, well, there's something wrong, like, there's something wrong with this person. And that's, it's like it's, I don't even want to say they, but it's like we make something bad out of wanting to do things, like we make that a bad thing, where really for me it's not. Because a lot of people that go down this road or get into this conversation start talking about, like, ego, and like, oh, you just need to fulfill your ego, and you need to do things to feel important. And it's like, yeah, man, I don't want to just sit there on the freaking couch and not do anything and feel nothing and like not create anything. I don't understand why that's desirable. Like, why would someone want to get to the point where they don't feel the need to create and to produce and to do things in the world that we're in? Like, why would you want to get to the point where you're absolutely okay with just sitting there and doing absolutely nothing? Like, what? It's like, cool, you get to the point that you can do that. Now what? Like, are you just going to sit there until you die? Like, that's because I did go down that road where doing a lot of things where it's like, okay, let's see if I can just sit here and not, basically just like sit and be, right? And I mean, I got to the point where I could, like, I can just sit here and, like, I could just sit there and be for 60 minutes, not move, and be fine. But it's like, okay, cool, like now what? I don't know what is that, what is the purpose of that? What is like the point of that? In terms of actually moving things that we can measure forward, like moving the quality of your life forward, not just moving the way that you feel forward. Because that's what often gets talked about as, well, if you're just chasing things all the time, like, you're never happy. it's like, well, yeah, people that don't chase things, they have times when they're not happy too. The point of trying to accomplish things or do things isn't to be happy. It's to do the thing that you're trying to do. Like that's it. It's not like happiness isn't the only thing that I want. I want happiness, but I also want the ability to do anything that I want physically. I want the ability to have freedom financially. I want to have, and it doesn't mean that any one of those things is like opposed to or going to directly bring happiness. Happiness is kind of its own separate thing. There's certain things that you can do to provide a better like space to have the happiness, right? Like if you're just absolutely broke and you don't have anything, it's probably going to be more difficult to be happy, or easier. I don't really know, but what I'm saying is all these things are all separate. Like chasing a bunch of different things isn't on its own going to make you less happy, or feeling like you always want to do something doesn't mean that you're unhappy. Maybe it means that you're excited about the things that you're doing, and you can be happy or you can not be happy during that. And you can be happy and you cannot be happy just sitting there doing nothing. Like all these things are separate, and I think they get intertwined, and it doesn't make sense. Like why would we intertwine those? If you want to talk about happiness, let's talk about happiness. If you want to talk about like financials, let's talk about financials without tying it to these other things. If you want to talk about like your physical capacity, let's talk about that without relating it to all these other things, and then let's tie it all in together. Like it's both of those, right? It's being able to understand that they're separate things, and then being able to also understand how they all tie in together to kind of create that like comprehensive life, whatever it is that you want, but to create that for yourself. But yeah, like a big thing for me in kind of getting through this whole, or gaining more understanding, was actually going through and understanding why I was having that, like why I was having the friction around those things, why I was trying to tie things together that didn't necessarily need to be tied together, because I'd heard everyone else tie them together, and I was like, well, I can be happy just sitting here, but I want to do stuff, and that doesn't mean that I have to do stuff to be happy. It just means that I want to go do stuff, because to me that's more exciting, and there's more life in that than just sitting there and not doing stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, it starts with, like, if you're struggling with some type of tension or like opposition, it starts with understanding what's been put into your environment throughout your life that has caused that tension. Because when you originally came in, like you were you, right? Everything that you experience from that point on is other people bringing stuff into your environment. Because for a long time I was like, well, it's all on me, and that's true, but understand that you get ideas from other people and from other places and from other environments, and understand how those affect you and how those might be creating that tension, that opposition within yourself.